You know, one thing that I've discovered about having cows that I absolutely love is the realization and the connection to nature, and the fact that it's such a beautiful thing to have these animals.
This one here, her name's Nikki, because that face, the white texture on her face, is called a motley face. So my wife named her after Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue.
You take care of them, you protect them, you watch over them. In the end, they return the favor by nourishing your body and giving you the energy and the provision to continue and carry that on to the next generation of livestock. I grew up, you know, kind of more of a country boy. We grew up shooting guns out in the desert in Utah, and we grew up wearing cowboy boots and thinking we were cowboys and driving big trucks. I grew up in that kind of lifestyle, but I never ever was around cattle and livestock other than out the county fair or something like that. And when we bought this house, the lady looked at us and she said, "What do you think about keeping that mare out there?" And Jackie and I thought about it for a little bit, and she was like, "No way." And I said, "We got to do this." And we have just completely fallen in love with this kind of lifestyle. I'd never traded anything for it. You know, this is my lifestyle, and this is what was meant to be for my family. And it's definitely a blessing, and it's a gift from God. I'm Travis Jewell, and this is my story. How we landed here in Texas. So several years ago, my buddy Cody Compton, he mentioned how he wanted to move to Texas, and I had told him that a long time ago when Jackie and I were dating that we had talked about moving to Texas one day. It was a place where we both envisioned settling. I had never been here before in my life. She had been here on vacation as a little kid, and we actually wrote down on a little ticket stub from a concert we were on that one day we will live in Texas. And we thought at first we were going to live in Dallas, and we drove out here to Tyler, check it out, and remembered what Cody told us, and we just found this beautiful property here. We just fell in love with it immediately. Shortly thereafter, we made an offer that day, and then our house in Utah sold. We just felt like it was meant to be. It was a God thing. It was one of those things where everything fell into place perfectly, and this has just been a dream come true for us. Jackie and I, when we were first married, we didn't have two nickels to rub together. We were, you know, just young, just starting out. We didn't, you know, our families, you know, they're great middle-class families, but, you know, we didn't inherit any kind of money or anything like that, and we were just two hard-working young kids, and, you know, we started off a business out of our garage in this small house that we had, and my best friend sold his motorcycle, and I donated some tools to the business, and we started it out of a little rusty Astro van. And slowly but surely, over 15 years, we grew it, and we were in 2 different states, Illinois and Utah, and we grew our crews, and slowly became known as the best around. And eventually, some people started noticing that, you know, there was something valuable about this business, and these guys did a good job, and they've got a great crew and a great reputation. And we slowly started getting people that were interested in acquiring us. Thankfully, after 15 years of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, literally blood, sweat, and tears, we were acquired in May of this year. and it was able to give me the complete freedom to now, further pursue the fishing career, and also, several other many ideas and inventions that I have in my mind, and I'm excited to see what the future holds with it all. Jackie and I have been married for about 16 years, going on 16 years. Every year on our anniversary, I'm gone on a fishing trip for the most part. She is the most loving and supporting person I've ever met in my life. She understands that this fishing thing and this adventurous life of mine, and the fact that I thrive whenever I am doing something risky and traveling and seeing this beautiful world and experiencing the things that this country has to offer, that makes me a better man for her, and it makes me a better man for our family. And I just am so fortunate to have that in my life, and know that my family just sees me thrive whenever I'm enjoying nature and fishing. My daughters are my life. I'm so grateful for them. They call themselves the Bass Cat Fisher Girls, and they like to film little fishing videos of themselves. My 9-year-old, actually this year, I caught a 9.5 pound fish, and I think it was after church on one Sunday, and I had this 9.5 pound fish. I'm reeling in, and I get my 9-year-old, I say, get the net, and my 9-year-old landed a 9.5 pound bass, holds it up for the camera. It was one of the joys of my life watching her. She just thought she was so cool holding that big fish. So yeah, my girls, they love fishing. My wife, not so much, because when we were dating, we were in my little John boat, and I went to set the hook on a bass, and I whacked her right across the forehead with my rod, and she had a big giant welt all the way across her head, and she vowed never to go fishing with me again. But she gets on the boat here and there. She just doesn't really love fishing. Growing up in Utah, growing up around the mountains, these clear mountain streams and reservoirs, camping with my family, I grew up fishing for trout. And
look at this place.
As I was a little kid, about I'd say 12 to 13 years old, I had this newspaper route, and I'd go throw the newspapers early in the morning, and then I'd jump on my bike and I'd ride down to the tackle shop down the road, and I'd be able to get a dozen night crawlers. And I'd spend all day long at this little creek that ran right through the middle of the city in suburbia. And what a lot of people around there didn't know is that it was loaded with these just beautiful brown trout, native browns, that lived in the slow section of that creek. That's where I really fell in love with nature and with fishing, and just being by myself down there at the creek, or with a buddy or a friend from the neighborhood. We'd spend all day long just hoping that we would get that next bite.
East Texas, this is what it's all about right here.
Actually, I went to a bass fishing seminar. I think my grandpa took me there when I was about 13 or 14, and they were flipping into cups and things like that. And slowly but surely, I was able to sneak on the golf course ponds around Salt Lake City, find a couple bass, learn how to bass fish. And it wasn't until I was in my 20s when I moved to the Midwest, where literally that northern strain bass is everywhere, in every little kettle lake and moraine lake. I met this home inspector through one of the businesses that I ran, and he was a bass fisherman, and it was on the Fox chain of lakes in northern Illinois. He took me out in his Ranger, and I finally got a chance to be friends with the bass fisherman. That's what truly got me hooked on wanting to be a tournament fisherman. Got myself a 12-foot John boat, and thought that I was going to join these club tournaments. Quickly realized that I had to have at least 150 horse motor, so I went and got myself a Gambler bass boat, 1994 Gambler, and joined my first couple tournaments, and went straight to the front of the boat. Never did the co-angler thing, and slowly but surely worked my way towards fishing in bigger and bigger competitions. Then I moved back to Utah, found out that there's a great bass fishing community in Utah. I got back into fishing some tournaments in Utah, some team tournaments, found some success there. Gradually got into some more travel tournaments, Lake Havasu, Clear Lake, California, some bigger competitions, and worked my way towards the US Open, which is a big tournament, the biggest tournament in the West. This passion for fishing really just, I always wanted to do something more with it. It's just like so many other people that follow this sport and love this sport. I wanted to be a, quote, pro. I wanted more. It was during the pandemic. I remember I found out about the National Professional Fishing League. You know, they were a new league that was going to be starting up in 2021, and they were accepting applications. And I was like, okay, you know, Jackie, here's an opportunity where I can apply and potentially get a place on this league where I would be able to finally chase the pursuits of being a, quote, a pro. And I found out that, you know, I was able to get onto the league, and my wife had nothing but full support for everything. And we looked at each other and we're like, now's our chance. Now's our chance to finally move to Texas, like we've talked about since we were dating. So we decided to give it a shot, and we came out here and we joined this league, and it's just been just an amazing ride. You know, at the end of the day, I want people to reflect on my career and what I've done. I hope that they say, yeah, he raised some trophies, but the biggest thing that I remember from his story is that he inspired me to quit my job and start that business that I thought that I never could do. So I hope that what I do in my travels inspire people to just take that risk, take that adventure, and do those things that they've always dreamed of. In reflection of this whole experience, I sometimes question, okay, did I make the right choice? Or am I in over my head? And it's crossed my mind many times, especially when if it's a tournament I'm struggling, I'm out there in the middle of the lake, like whining to myself, wondering, what did I do wrong? And then I stop and I think, and I realize that no, I'm out here for a reason.